Oh, sorry.
Things are starting to slow down.
Okay.
I think so. Let me, pin this one. There we go.
Tear a house down, put it in industrial.
We got it, sir. I'll call you if I have any issues or text you or whatever.
On the lost.
I believe this week,
Person, are you?
I know, yeah. That you're supposed to be in. I've got 3 copies to share.
Boys, you weren't that hurt. He said, you can't bring that down, but you've already called the Rubicon.
Oh.
River over in France.
Ryan, it's very kind of.
It could be on the video, I believe.
You know, I come down here and sit.
Well,
Yell at you.
It's really kind of appropriate for you to be there. This is not great.
Yeah, but
You make it quick.
I'm not.
You're not sitting right here.
Ball in and run.
Tim sets the, I'm instead of road rider.
We're gonna all.
You ever got one of them? Chevy?
Yeah, it's better than.
You always find people somewhere.
Yeah. That's in there.
Or somebody. But I like to call the team sometimes.
We'll be back when you.
Oh, yeah.
We're on the floor.
So then.
We're probably not to clean this.
Not as fast. Like a big stone. Then you say whatever you want.
Yeah, it's recording.
Well.
I usually try to start about 10 till. Good I don't really. Oh, my goodness. Well, thank God it's on.
I meant to help her and I. My apologies.
But then.
So I mean, everything's real good.
Your leg hurt. Not great. You'll be all right.
Rudy. Yeah, Rudy got there. Get started. Thank Kathy. One time she bounced in.
Do you wanna know if my husband has children?
But they had for dinner.
And almost 1-year-old and 2-year-old, right? Okay, who's eating? So creepy at that age.
Not how it's supposed to work.
I'll be there tomorrow.
We can see a lot.
But everybody's from Vaca.
Just strawberry Fanta.
The budget work with that also.
It's been a long time since I drank vodka. And I'm not gonna start at the council meeting. Okay. I do not bring my.
Big one.
Yeah.
This one. This one's my dad. Like, probably, I don't know something wrong. Did he have my duck? Did he have my duck? Not, no.
I have to.
Tim, you need to pass it?
No, I got it.
They're supposed to be for the department heads. Okay.
I knew everything about this. All right. That's why I didn't go.
All right, good evening, everyone. This is the regular council meeting, Monday, July 24th, 2023, 6 p.m. I'll call this meeting to order. Will you please go ahead and initiate the roll call, please, City Clerk?
Councilman Sutter,
Here.
Councilman Price,
Here.
Councilman Jordan,
Here.
Councilwoman Cordis. Here. Councilwoman Sherman. Here. Councilman Bell,
Here.
Councilman Gott.
Here. Will you lead us, in invocation, please? Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity, Lord, to come and be a part of your system, Lord, of government, Lord, for you set up government, Lord. I thank you for this council. I thank you for the mayor and the citizens of this community, Lord. I pray that you'll just give our councilman, our mayor guidance, Lord, and on their dealings in this community, Lord, that they might make this community a better place, Lord God, for all of us, Father. We thank you for them, Lord. Bless them, I pray, and the citizens of this city of Louisiana. In the name of Jesus, we ask. Amen. Councilman Bell, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Council, you have the agenda in front of you. Are there any modifications to the agenda that you can see we may need to address? City Administrator, is there anything on the agenda that we need to address as far as the agenda? I believe that the example of the DNR is that added to the agenda. Yes, so council would like to add to the agenda under reports of the ordinance committee, the TNR sample that we have to be presented to the ordinance committee. Only modification. That's the only one I see at the plan. Accept the motion to approve adding the TNR statute from St. Louis to the ordinance report. We have a first and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say yay. Yay. Opposed, like sign. The agenda is modified. At this point, we will open the floor for public comment and written communication pertaining to items on the agenda. I do see that we have Mr. Campbell on for Faith Fest, October 26th. Are there any written communications? I have one that was given to me. It is it looks like it's from Brenda and Turkish. It says, thank you to our city park staff and event scheduler. We at Belong Church want to thank you for allowing us to use the park for the community movie at park night. I love bringing people together in a positive, inexpensive, warming environment to grow closer to each other and restore old-time community togetherness. Thank you, Parkside staff, for maintaining a nice park. Thank you. All right, is the floor is open to the public. Any comment or concerns with tonight's agenda items?
It's on the agenda there. Why do you have to close meetings before the council meeting is over? It's like they used to have a closed meeting after everything's over, that way the people can go home. Now we got to stand out there in the heat or the cold or stand up in the hallway with no seats until the closed meeting's over. Why can't they start having the closed meeting at the end of the council meeting so the people can go home?
So to answer that question directly, tonight, the closed session is item number 17. So it is at the end. Sometimes we we'll move it forward, especially if there's potential action that we want to communicate with the citizens. Otherwise, if we wait till everyone leaves and then have our closed meeting and go back into open session, and we take a vote in open session, people are no longer here to listen to the vote.
If you let the people get up and speak before the closed meeting, if they have anything to speak about, the council should discuss, then they just discuss it at the closed meeting. People shouldn't have to wait around all night for the closed meeting to be over before they get up and speak.
Okay, so,
I'm just bringing it up.
all right, well, usually anything further is added to media clarification. And that's number 16. And usually that's when we open the floor back up. And that would, for tonight, that would be before we go into public comment. Any other comments or concerns from the public? Okay, mayor's report. So tonight, council and citizens, I want to present to you something that we haven't had since 2017, which is a balanced budget. All right. So if you take a look, and we don't have a ton of copies, but if you want a copy to look at it, we do have a few that we have right now. But if you go to, for summarizing, if you go to the last page, is really a good point to summarize. So now I'm going to go back to actual 2018. Well, you go all the way back to 2016. We go back and we look at our budget. We go back all the way back to 2016 and we do comparisons. So net budget, meaning that as far as this is surplus. So in 2018 was the last year we had surplus in our budget. So in 2019, we spent $521,000 more than what we budgeted. In 2020, we spent $845,000 more than what we budgeted. In 2021, we spent $1,173,000 more than we budgeted. That's the reason for that, and I can attest to that, is some of the COVID funds and the American Rescue Act funds. So we had more funds coming in than what we had originally budgeted. In 2022, we spent $159,000 more than what we budgeted. 22-23, this past year, we budgeted $215,000 more than what we actually spent. We overspent by only $92,000. So when I took office and everything else, we were able to cut our expenses down, even with some of the excessive spending that we had. We spent $92,000 over our budget last year. This year, the budget that's being presented is actually we are saving $487. So we're going to be in the good, $487 in the good. So this year we're looking at a balanced budget. If you look at the enterprise has been in the good ever since 21-22 budget year. They've had a surplus of $148,000. 22-23 budget, they budgeted $349,000 to be in the good. The actual was $623,000 in the good this past year. This year, however, we're still going to be in the good by $52,000, but some of the key items that we're looking at are major improvements to our wastewater treatment plant and our water treatment plant. We are also looking at purchasing a back truck for the city, which the city's never owned a back truck. They've had a portable jetter, but they've never owned a back truck. And I do have department heads and one scared that can explain what that is. and why it's important for the city to have that. But overall, looking at the summary sheet, we have a balanced budget for both the enterprise and the city. So council, the last time I brought you a budget, based on, unverified accounting. Tonight, I bring to you, more accurate, the best of our ability to make it as accurate as possible, a balanced budget. And it's up to the council if you want to go through this line by line or page by page, however the council wants to do it. This budget, I feel, is ready to be passed. All right, we have a first and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay. So we have a motion and second class, and we have a concern to look at each budget. Let me go through some height and before we take a vote. Even though we can call the vote right now, but let's go through some high points. So if you look at the general admin, that's the first page, if you look at it. The income is anticipated at $1,477,175. And expenses that we're looking for the general admin expenditures is $519,608. And that is more than what, as far as expenditures, that is more than what we expended last year. Excuse me, it is less than what we expended last year. Last year, we budgeted $629,230. However, we budgeted $489,000. And some of the reasoning for that is because we took some of the American Rescue Funds and then we did some projects up on Tennessee and Kentucky, or 14th in Tennessee, and then went all the way up to Kentucky. And then we also did the cemetery project as far as the sewer and the overlays of replacing that infrastructure utilizing the American Rescue Funds. We have approximately $150,000 of the American Rescue Funds that we are carrying over from last year to this year to help and assist with doing street projects for 6 streets that we identified as doing milling and overlay. The second page is animal control. The big thing on the animal control is we're going to fund it with an animal control officer. You know, so we are going to pay for that position. That position was removed approximately 4 or 5 years ago under Mayor Brown at that time. So we are going to have a full-time animal control officer in that position. And so we went from a budget that last year we budgeted $4,333. We budgeted that. We actually spent $5,683 out of that, and John Cotton's fund only paid for $1,700 of it. So this year we are actually budgeting $56,877.76 to fund that department, which will include a full-time animal control officer.
What you have maintenance, let's see, I don't have it in front of me, but you have building maintenance and whatever, and then further on down, you have maintenance again.
Okay, so facilities, we budgeted $1,000 for maintenance, building maintenance. And you're looking at equipment maintenance for $100. What other maintenance are you talking about?
That was I didn't see equipment maintenance when I was looking at it on my laptop, but.
Okay. Next page is the police department. The biggest thing on here is the training. We are looking to hire officers, and if we need to go through an application process to send people to an academy, That's been budgeted into it. So this past year, as far as income, it was budgeted $192,647 is what was budgeted for income. And the actual finish was $162,926. So this year, we actually budgeted for income, $125,475. For the expenses side of it, last year we budgeted $518,000. And we spent $574,000. This year, we are anticipating an expenditure of $570,000. And the big thing about what we did last year, within this past year, we went from starting salaries with $14.50 per police officer to $19.50. We're competitive with everyone that's in Pike County about as far as starting wages. Also, we boosted the training side of the expenditure. So if we need to go and get candidates to go to the academy, we can cover that cost. Any questions on police department? Code enforcement. We budgeted 72,000 last year, and we're budgeting this year. Last year, we actually spent 69,000 with this. We are adding part-time labor for an assistant code enforcement officer to assist with all the building inspections. You know, we were last week was 300 inspections down below where we needed to be caught up. So we are pushing real hard to on code enforcement, and also going through the process of tearing down structures and so forth. So we really got a big push that we're trying to do this year with our code enforcement. Streets income budget. The big thing is this year is we received, we still have American Rescue Funds, approximately 150 years that we're going to utilize towards milling and overlaying 6 streets this year. Last time we did it was September of last year. We do have one dump truck that's under a lease, or not lease, yeah, it is a lease purchase agreement. Other than that, we are looking to be fully staffed for the street department and water department as far as P&D. So last year we budgeted $241,000. We spent $245,000. This year we include in the county side of it the $150,000 for the street improvement. So this year we budgeted $378,000. As far as an income, both of those were income. On the expenditure side, we budgeted $490,000 last year. We spent $476,000. This year, we have budgeted $561,000 for expenses. So doing the street overlays and also initiating a safety program and being fully staffed is what our goal is. Anything else for the streets? Grounds, as far as income last year, we budgeted $3,880. We actually received $10,484. This year, we budgeted an income of $10,200. On the expenses, last year we budgeted $158,000. We spent $142,000. This year, we have budgeted $179,000. The biggest thing on this is that we've contracted out with a third party to take care of the cemetery. The thought process is that our staff, and because we've always been minimal staff and always been playing catch-ups, in years past, we've seen the parks and cemetery go go beyond, the need of being cut as far as the grass and stuff. So the goal this year, and I'm pretty much a test for myself anyway, that grounds department and cemeteries look good, and the parks, they've been knocking it out, getting the job done, and been taking on extra projects. So we have reevaluated the staffing on that, and we have one full-time staff member, two part-time staff members, and we'll fill 2 times summer help, usually high school kids come in to help. Didn't want to eliminate that, even though we probably could, but I think that's a good PR with our school system and local residents that be able to come in once. And they're getting the job done. Some of that in that expense also is, we do have potential upgrades on the riverfront that we're looking to do. We had applied for the Missouri Department of Conservation grant. It is a 50-50 cost share to redo the riverfront where the gravel is now. Looking to put in actual curbs, sidewalks, and grass and landscaping versus just gravel and weeds. Economic development, significantly there, last year we budgeted $2,950 in expenses. This year we actually budgeted $3,425, mainly trying to get, the biggest increases on that is to try to provide more advertisement, more communications and mailing and so forth to promote the city. The fire department, last year we budgeted for expenses $87,000. We actually spent $96,000 last year. The council decided to purchase a side-by-side for about $18,000. That we was going to do a lease purchase, but it was decided to go ahead and pay it out of the general fund. This year we have budgeted $88,037, so it's just a fraction more than what it was last year. The emergency management, we budgeted $1,175 last year. We only spent about $529 last year. This year we budgeted $1,000. So typically, we don't issues with emergency disasters or anything of that nature, but the library board, we budgeted $47,000, which is typically the majority of that's free, but they have received state aid and donations and other things. So $47,000 last year. They actually received $61,174. A lot of that was due to the state aid and donations and some of the STEM grants and so forth that they received. This year we upped it from $47,000 to $54,825 per income. The expenses last year was budgeted $47,574. Actual is $51,383. And this year we are budgeting $50,165 for the library. License office. As far as income, we budgeted $66,000 last year. Actual was $67,000. So this year we have budgeted $67,000 for income. Expenses, we budgeted $50,000 last year. Our expenses were actually on $47,000. We are anticipating the expenditures of $51,592 for the license office. For the health income budget, we are only looking at, we haven't received anything as far as income for the health income budget since, really of any significance 2016. But this is where we, expend funds for, a spraying of the mosquitoes and buffalo gnats. So last year we budgeted 6,400. We've only spent $241. However, this year we've really initiated a good program with our spraying, and we budgeted 4,000 this year. And we're really on pace and doing a pretty good job of getting that out there. It's all EPA approved, UNR3, Washington, there's been some concerns that it's in all we need, but what are we spraying in the air? Okay, so the city debt service restricted funds income budget. Last year, we budgeted 370,000, and we actually got 301,000. This year, we are anticipating $419,375. And these are everything that's from the half-cent transportation sales tax, use tax, water sales tax, stormwater use tax, hotel motel tax. And so they're all restricted income. The expenditures that last year we budgeted, remember the income last year was 370,000. We budgeted $583,000 for expenses. However, the actual expenses for last year was $316,000. This year, we are budgeting $407,975 for expenditures. The enterprise, general and admin income budget. Last year, we budgeted for 296,000 income. We expended actual $336,000. This year, we are budgeting $323,000. As far as expenses, we budgeted $376,000 last year. We only spent $330,000 last year. This year, we are anticipating spending $415,000. And what are we doing with the general, with the enterprise general and admin? We're looking to add another head count to our water office. Our staff is overworked, and they need as much help as they can to make everything run a little bit smoother. In case someone takes off or there's issues going on, there's a lot of work. So it's in our budget to hire an additional headcount to the water office there. Well, enterprise. Because the next item is the water office itself. Last year, as far as expenses, we budgeted $110,000 last year. This will give you an idea of how understaffed and how overworked our staff is. We budgeted $110,000, right? We only spent $78,000. We left a lot of money on the table for actual people that actually do the work. This year, we are budgeting $143,000 for the water office. And the big portion of that is staffing. We want to be fully staffed to provide the best service for the citizens of Louisiana. And so we can address issues in a timely manner. That's the water office. Distribution. So this is everything that's the water runs in, whether it's coming or going. All right, so the income last year is $24,000. We've only received $590. And a lot of that are connect service and materials and different things that we might receive in the time. A lot of it is basically pulled from reserves to help pay for the expenses. So as far as the expense last year, we budgeted $530,000. We actually spent $356,000. I'm gonna tell you right now, part of that is because we were understaffed. This year, we're gonna bump it up about 30,000, so the expenditures total will be $567,000. Part of that is. Brian, do we show the back truck and distribution,
The what truck?
the back truck?
It was, I don't know.
No, it's not under,
No.
it's another enterprise fund.
Right.
It's under P and P.
Right.
Okay. So the PMP, last year, we budgeted $111,000 in income. We've only received $337,000 in income. This year, we budgeted $778,000 in income, which is in line. If you go further right, looking at 22s, 21s, and 20 actual, it falls right in line. Some of the issues with, well, some of that may be on how stuff is accounted for as far as what coding that we put down in our accounting system. We've been fighting that for the past 4 months, just so you kind of have an understanding of that, why there might be some little differences. But as far as the expense side, last year, we budgeted $348,000. This year, we spent $390,000. Big part of that was the cost of chemicals last year. The amount we spent was $120,000 in chemicals. We budgeted only $72,000. This year, we've budgeted $100,000. We'll see what we can do to reduce that, if there's anything that we can do to reduce it. So this year, remember last year we budgeted $348,000. This year we are budgeting $467,000. And part of that is we are looking at a lease purchase agreement for a back truck. This is anywhere from $200,000 to a $300,000 vehicle that will actually jet our sewers to clean them out, and also have the back that will help us whenever we break ground or clean out our sewer system. Something that we've never had before, that is a big item that will help us out for the city. Wastewater income. Last year, we budgeted $375,000. Actual, we actually got $483,000. We budgeted $469,000 for wastewater income. As far as expenses, we budgeted $141,000. Actual expenses for last year was $153,000. We budgeted $170,000. We jumped it up because there are some issues that we are addressing as a city with our wastewater plant. There are some issues that have been widely reviewed to address. And if we need to get into the reserves that we don't foresee yet, we'll be here. The debt service restricted funds income for the enterprise side. We budgeted last year $1,418,000. Actual was $1,218,000. The previous year the actual was $1,259,000. What we budgeted for this coming year is $1,197,000. As far as the expenditures, last year we budgeted $1,068,000. What we actually spent was $842,000. This year, we are estimating an expense of $972,000. So the last page is the summary page. It just kind of gets back to where I started. That what I'm presenting to council, that Brian, and Elizabeth had worked diligently on to get these numbers to us to be as accurate as possible for us to review and to adopt if the council so wishes. This is the first balanced budget since we've had since 2018. So I know there's a motion on the floor to pass and we're in open discussion. I'm not sure the long discussion. Are there any questions for Brian or Alyssa before we take a vote? All right, hearing nothing, I'll add one more thing. All right, stretching this out. You'll have this sheet in front of you. This is the end of the year. So total revenues last year that the city received was $2,319,226. Total expenses was $2,411,090, excuse me, $2,411,928. So we dipped into the reserves by $92,701. Where did that, why did we have to do that? Well, we spent about $160 something thousand on attorney fees last year. And we also spent some funds on some unexpected items with our wastewater plant as well, and our distribution plant. So looking at the city side still, total non-restricted funds is $729,000. Total restricted funds is $757,000 for a total combined $1,486,000. Okay. Now, if you look at on the enterprise side, total revenues collected was $2,776,000. Total expenses was $2,152,000 with a surplus of $623,482. So if you look at our restricted funds and non-restricted funds, non-restricted was $449,000. Total restricted funds was $1,893,659. So the total being $2,342,800. So that's the end of the year financials of the city. Okay. We have a motion and a second. City clerk, will you take roll call to approve or not approve the budget as presented?
Councilman Sudar,
Yes.
Councilman Price.
Yeah.
Councilman Jordan,
Yeah.
Councilwoman Cordis, Councilman Bell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman. Yes. Councilman Dodd.
Yes.
Motion passes. We will get that, we'll get that in paper. As soon as possible. Other items is acceptance of bids. We have received bids for the mowers and van and the bus. So mower number one was a 2005 Kubota for $900. That's one bid. Second bid was, excuse me, for that item. The second item was a 2007 Kubota for $750. These are all high bids. And then the van, we received on one bid for $600. And then we received a bid for the bus. And I would recommend declining the bid on the bus for $300. You can take it to tractor or trade it in for the grounds department, some flatbed truck or something. I would recommend rejecting that. But all other bids, I would recommend approving.
Make the motion to approve all of them.
We have a motion on the floor. Anyone want a second?
I'll second the motion.
You know, first, second, you need discussion.
Is that for all four of them being approved or?
So it's the two mowers and the minivan. Not approved, not approving the bus.
On discussion on the minivan, I think we can get more than $600 in that. It's a basic vehicle is $450. Then the Cadillac converter is another 100. So.
Well, the issue with that, Councilman, is that the van more than likely would have a salvage title. And, you know, the previous administration of the police department was trying to turn that into a police vehicle. And they really gutted out some of the insides of it to try to emergency lights and radios and everything in it. So with it being a potential salvage title and everything else, I'm not sure if it, I mean, that's just my opinion. Any other discussion? We have a first and second. All those approved, say yay.
Yes.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. All right. Next item on the agenda is the city administrator's report.
Well, I'm getting accustomed to the inner workings of the city. I've been giving a couple of tours to investors. It looks promising, but nothing to mention yet. So if the chicken hatched, I will let you know.
Now, council, we've got a little bit here. Now, Mr. Spencer has been with us for probably a month now.
Yeah.
And within some terminology, I've heard some people saying, the gentleman has arrived in the city of Louisiana with his roller skates on, ready for business. And any of the staff that works in City Hall would attest that I haven't seen a city administrator work as hard as this gentleman. I'm struggling too much because we want to produce, but I do see some promising things that are coming and happening for our city. And there's so much I would love to be able to tell you right now.
I know it's hard, isn't it?
There's so much I'd love to tell you all right now, but just hold tight. I mean, there's tension coming. So. All right, with that being said, anything else, Larry?
That's all I have.
City attorney, Mary, do you have anything for us?
The only thing I have is that I will be sending a template that the building code inspector and the building commissioner can use to provide proper notice to people to start doing procedures to have their buildings torn down if they're not going to fix them. I'm working on a water contract and also reviewing the Daycom copier contract, but that's all I've got right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions for Mary? Next item is the police chief's report.
I submitted to you guys in writing, but a couple highlights. We finally have all our uniform crime reporting all caught up, so it's up to date. So that way we can apply for grants. Makes us eligible for those. The Walmart grant, those funds should be coming here shortly. And another thing, we're still on the struggle bus finding officers, you know, but I have gave the city administrator a potential contract for paying for the academy for somebody if we need to do that. There are several individuals at academies currently that are currently in progress that aren't employed anywhere that I can then reach out to and, you know, try and lure them here and get them here to work. August 1st is National Night Out. We're going to team with the Concerned Citizens Group and have an event out back behind City Hall here.
Good shout out. So I want to shout out again. as far as the National Night Out, August the 1st, which is the first Tuesday in August. So, back here at City Hall in the parking lot, we'll have some refreshments and maybe something to eat and some games for kids to play. Be a good opportunity for to interact with the city police department, fire department, and the council people. If anyone is having a block party in their neighborhood, please share with us. We'll be sure to let the police department and the fire department know. They'll bring fire truck and police guard and visit the block party. I know in years past, we've had several parties. COVID kind of put a kick to everything, but we're trying to rebuild that and bring it back. So, fire chief's report. Do we have any written communication from the fire chief?
Never received none.
Okay. Council and committee reports. Ordinance committee.
I know that Kathy and Brian were working on the animal control ordinance. I don't know if anybody's gonna take a look at that.
You want to?
Well,
Okay.
yeah.
Cassie and I have been meeting, it's my hope to go through the entire ordinance code with each and every one of you, making a section. Cassie has volunteered to do the animal one, and we've been going through each and every line item, and we're gonna make suggestions and changes. Some of it is government overreach. That is not necessary. Some of it is cleanup language. But we've met 2 times for about 5 hours, 2.5 hours each time. We're gonna meet again on Tuesday at around 10 o'clock. And we're gonna continue going through the pages until we get something to submit to the council in its entirety, and hopefully just do a complete animal control ordinance overhaul.
Okay. So, ordinance committee, I also, in your packet, you received a copy. And I want to present to the ordinance committee want to sign it to you all for review and modification and adoption for the PNR program for Louisiana. So what you have in front of you is actual the PNR ordinance for the city of St. Louis. The biggest thing about this, it covers the issue of feral cats 360 degrees, not just 180. So it's looking at it all the way around. So I give that to the ordinance committee and the council for their review and consideration for modification and inclusion into our animal ordinances.
And it also takes us out of the legalities of the contract with the single.
Yes, because our previous TNR contract specifically earmarked a specific organization versus using generic language that they will utilize. And then we do have coming up under new business bill 7204. I know this was presented to the ordinance committee last month, and bill 7204 will bring up under new business. But this is repealing the current TNR program, so it can be replaced with a new TNR program. So when we get to it, that'll be a first read. When we get to it, then we'll give it 30 days and give it a second read. All right, streets, grounds.
We have a few things. We need to get a bid on the riverfront landing. That's the portion of the riverfront that lies closest to the river in front of the rock wall. It's falling apart. Could you give us some insight on that, Brian?
So the apparently some time ago, there was a barge that got loose and crashed into the lower wall in front of our riverfront. And I believe that they received a check from the barge company. And They use those funds for other purposes, and the wall was never replaced. With times and floods, it's slowly starting to erode away to the point that it needs attention. And so, when it's brought to my attention, I've started researching it. We will need a general permit from the Corps of Engineers. And in discussing with them, I showed, Councilman, the form that we'll have to fill out. They suggest that we would have a, engineer drafting of the repairs of that, if we plan on being successful in getting that permit. So I guess what I would need is approval from the council to move forward with this and getting some type of sketch or design to repair that wall. So we can go to the Corps of Engineers and ask their permission to do it from that.
I'll make that motion.
One second.
Is there any discussion? Rest of council?
So on this, what dollar amount are we looking at not to exceed for engineering study? Council, the reason I'm asking, it might be a simple motion. And just give the city administrator the authority up to his limits, which is $5,000. If he comes back and he can't get an engineering study for less than $5,000, and come back and approve it. He'll give us a ballpark figure of what to do with this. We are applying, so the council knows, we are applying for, I think I've already mentioned, we are applying for a grant on the river front, but it won't include that portion of repairs on the wall. And we'll know by September if we receive that grant or not. If we don't receive that grant, then we'll have approximately $20,000 to $40,000 that we can spend elsewhere. Otherwise, it's already spoken for.
And it's possible for us to get a grant for this, but to be successful, we still need to report either way.
So I'm in my motion to move that we let our city administrator go up to $5,000 for the engineering drafting of repairs.
One second.
Any other discussion? And just, if it's more than that, you'll just bring it back to the council. So, all those in favor say yeah. Opposed, like sign?
And the next item is the cemetery walls. They are complete now, aren't they?
The concrete wall is complete. I sent pictures to the grounds and street department to look at it. They had concerns about drainage behind the wall, and the contractor put in a drainage pipe at the bottom of the wall, and they've got pictures of the process. And I believe the words were that should take care of it. So the concrete wall is complete. The rock wall will be started in early August.
That's all we have.
Okay. Kind of follow up on that. There's some funding that has been put aside to look at purchasing equipment for straightening tombstones. It's a device that will clamp onto the tombstones underneath and sides and start leveling it so it can be backfilled, and re-leveled on the tombstone. So the price range is anywhere from $1,500 to $6,000, right? So we have budgeted not quite $6,000, but we budgeted about $2,500. Start looking at a similar device or making our own similar device, because I know that's a pretty big deal with our cemetery. It's one of the most beautiful sites that come to, especially up on the house line. So we just want to let the committee know, and also We have put out the bids for overlay and for milling and overlay at 6 streets. Bids were put out last Wednesday. We're looking at spending up about $160,000 towards that. Utilizing the remainder of our American Rescue Funds. And kicking in a little bit on our own.
You want to read into those streets?
Yeah, go ahead. We've done it before, but go ahead and
So South Carolina Street, Main Road only, from 5th to 7th. It's mill and 2-inch overlay. The second street will be 8th Street in Tennessee to Cole. And that's mill and 2-inch overlay. They're all overlays except for the third one is a free. Next one is Virginia from 6th to 3rd, mill and 2-inch overlay. The fourth one is 13th Street, Georgia to Kentucky. That's a 2-inch overlay. And the fifth one is Metella and Forest Hill. That is the 3-inch overlay.
So those are the ones that the council has already approved.
Correct.
Just to let you know, the package is going to have 3 additional options for some streets that have been earmarked, so we want to have a good idea. So we can kind of pick and choose, once all the bids come in, where to focus that. I know part of it was on North Carolina Street out by the park, and some was right there, the school, the street going up to the elementary and secondary school. And another one next to the funeral home there. So those are just options that we're looking for pricing. So we can kind of pick and choose. Once we get all that pricing in. But a lot of that, when we bid like that, is dependent on the mobilization. So we have to kind of take that into account whenever they think we do. Also, we've gotten a price for sealing and painting the parking lot. City administrator is seeking an additional comparative bid right now. The one bid we got is below the $5,000 limit. So we are seeking additional, seeking additional comparative bids before we release that work.
I have 5 companies that expressed interest they should have released by Friday.
And then we're also seeking bids to paint, scrape and paint City Hall and all the certain wood surfaces of City Hall and doors. And we had one bid in that was requested, and it's $78,000, and we realized right off that exceeds our limit. Excuse me, $7,800. Big time. Good hits, good hits. Yeah. $7,800 is a lot too, but so that exceeds our limit, so we had went out for bids asking for that as well last week. All right, so we had the next, excuse me, historic preservation. Any news from the historic preservation?
No.
Senior housing, nope. Employee citizen relations.
No.
All right.
I did have one question for the road. That property that I was talking about on 14th. Did anybody go look at that?
Yeah, Bill.
Did, I mean, the phone and about under that. I'm supposed to tell her. Put her notes into tomorrow.
They brushed that wall with the floor and bucket and paid them back.
No, I knew it was on the road, but it used to be around up and now it's off Leonard. So I was wondering if they were gonna pull it back and put it back where some of these legs won't catch that and.
I'm not touch it, because the one you have to do.
The bunch of dirt that's out in front of that. That clump, big hill, no hill, whatever you call it.
They raised that,
They actually, okay.
she lost her company.
Yes. When you heard that, they were very upset.
Volunteer.
Okay. Next item is approval of minutes. Have a motion, second. Got a first, second, any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yeah.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Old business. Any old business that we haven't talked about yet? Nope. All right. New business. Council, we got bill number 7204. For the first reading. An ordinance to repeal definition in chapter 200 community cat management program and chapter 210, section 115. Titled Community Cats. Of the municipal code of the city of Louisiana, County of Pike, Missouri. Entertain a motion to accept the first reading. Second, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Councilman Killer,
Yes.
Councilman Price,
Yes.
Councilman Jordan,
Yeah.
Councilwoman Portis. Councilman Bell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman. Yeah. Councilman Gott.
Yeah.
All right, first reading is passed. We'll put it on our next scheduled regular meeting for second reading. Miscellaneous business, any items that we haven't discussed about already with council? If not, I'll ask if there's any immediate clarification. If anyone from the media, I'll open the floor to the citizens. If there's anything you want to address the council for the common good of the city. All right.
Last meeting, I brought something up, but I was told to follow proper procedure, and I did. Got Officer Anderson, hopefully, that I was informed. But I was told they didn't have no policy, so there's nothing they can do about it. I got a letter explaining it. The letter, the chief made false statements on the letter, but it's just his word against mine, I guess. But I got checking since I got on TV and thought he might be a good officer for the city, and I found out he's had over 100 complaints. He had several citizens had to go complain because he was hanging around the quick shop with underage girls, high school girls. He tried to get code enforcement. He tried to get a warrant to go into somebody. He wanted to go into somebody's house and go and get a warrant. He said he'd get the code enforcement officer to come back and needs him to come in. I asked about that at a previous council meeting. I never got no answers. If the code enforcement officer can be used to come into somebody's house by the police officer. I never got an answer for that. Then a few months later, he did get a search warrant, said it was large amounts of drugs and large amounts of stolen property. They found a very small amount of marijuana. That could have been a lawsuit. Then a choking incident up at the quick shop north. It was investigated by the feds. It involved Corey supposedly choked somebody out. Nobody's ever said anything about it. I can't find any information about it, what happened. He got demoted over that. And then the incident at the motel with the girls and the drinking and all that, you had a sworn statement from a witness come forward. He was fired for it. Then he was hired back. Did anybody look at his file to see about his past record before they hired him back, or was he just hired back because the previous administration fired him? And then we come to the high-speed chase here in town that just happened. Do you have any policy about chasing people through town? Because a man come up, told me him and his son almost got hit in that chase. I mean, what reason, is there some kind of reason? I mean, you gotta have some kind of policy on people having high-speed chases. They come down North Carolina, they were running streets, they come down there about 90 miles an hour. And then the man ended up dying over it. I mean, he's got 6 kids. I mean, you gotta have some kind of policy about high-speed chase in town. I mean, that's endangering the citizens. And I highly suggest you look at his records and find out what's going on. And to this day, he has not admitted that he made false statements about me being an informant. I know the city has no policy about that, but he is a police officer. And you're letting a police officer go around and accuse innocent citizens of being an informant. Now, I've been accosted in public. I've been called an informant. They asked me if I've been ratting on people. You informed on anybody today? You told me I ain't got no evidence. Well, I ain't got time to stop asking if they let me record that. But I got a letter from the chief, said he's completely exonerated because they have no policy. So how many times is stuff like this gonna happen and they get away with it? And then everybody I've talked to about it has made excuses for him. Now, I thought this was a fair and open and honest and everybody was gonna get a fair deal. Well, I don't see it. I see another Jones and Emily on our hands.
Your time, Tim.
Thank you. It's been quite 3 minutes. Okay.
Already, entertain a motion to, go into closed session, allowing, the city administrator, the city attorney, city clerk. Anyone else I can think of that we need to- and, Richie, that had you stay for a closed session. Anybody else? I think that'd be it. Here, in accordance with the revised statute, section 10.021, subsection 3, 11, 13, and 17. Entertain a motion to go into closed session. Second. All those in favor, do roll call, please.
Councilman Suller,
Yes.
Councilman Price,
Yes.
Councilman Jordan,
Yeah.
Councilwoman Cordis.
Yeah.
Councilman Bell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman,
Yeah.
Councilman Gott.
All right,
We are closed session.
Are we having any?
Well, I think. Eric and I speak. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I know, we're all squared up now. Yeah, at least here, mind up.
How are you?
Come into the committee and, really, the gal, she done very well, answered questions. He's coming in, asking for funds to help sponsor an event, a special event. And what's that? Is Josh still out there? Is she the one who's on the? Yeah.
Say, what committees you?
Yeah. So what they do is, it used to be contracted in the past with Louisiana Visitors Convention Bureau. She's not walking out. I told her this so long.
Hold up there, I'm sure they heard that.
We didn't hear much. So anyway, so this, the new owner, the new business owner, is their mid-20s and came in really energetic and wanted to request some advertising funds for special events. And basically, Karen responded with a lot of innuendo, not against her, but against the city itself and the city administrator and the mayor. And without going into great detail, I'll go into as much detail as you want. And I'll even turn it over to Brian or turn it over to Glenda for detail, but it's unbecoming of of a person in that position that's supposed to be with tourism and welcoming to people into our city. So, I asked for a resignation and her removal. And I'm just going to go ahead and request the consent. There's no formal hearing requirements to this. It's council's pleasure to go ahead and accept the removal of her in that position, and I'll reappoint someone else that's more positive and energetic for our community.
Well, shouldn't it be no matter who you are, if you're on one of the committees, especially a head of one of the committees, you're to speak up. And speak up positively about the city and the community to try to work together, whether you agree with what the other committee is doing, but do your best to work together.
So that's why I'm asking for the removal. So,
Glenda, did you have anything to say about this time?
No, it was very, very unprofessional to the point where it was long.
Wow.
On the other side of the table, and she just kept going on about certain people in our government, and it just went on and on and on.
So
And
you're agreeing with what? the mayor said?
absolutely, yes.
And I was invited to the meeting afterwards, and it was toxic. I mean, that's probably a mild word. They are supposed to help advertise and promote the city. And what they were doing was micromanaging the different programs and things there, which is beyond the scope of what that committee is for. Well beyond the scope.
And the young lady left almost in tears.
Wow. And she's a new
Business owner.
business over here in Louisiana.
welcome to Louisiana.
Collapsed on the floor, the theater outside in the hallway. So, yeah.
So, yeah.
I
so-
make the motion to remove Ms. Suckley from.
Absolutely.
Second promotion.
We have first and second. Can you take a roll call, please?
Councilman Sutter,
Yes.
Councilman Price.
Yes.
Councilman Jordan,
Yeah,
Councilwoman Cordis,
Yes.
Councilman Bell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman. Yes. Councilman Gott.
Yeah.
Motion carries. Council, motion to adjourn. Adjourn.
I second it.
All those in favor say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so bad when she got do that. We don't need anybody right now.
I think
We don't need. I would say this. Yeah, yeah. She needed it all. But so. I agree to present.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bite my mouth.
You're giving your tongue.
Yeah.